estate, business, marketing, and entrepreneurship. Each show consists of myself, Matt Laricy, a team member, and a guest. This week, the Matt Laricy Group team member joining us is none other than Joe Ruick. Joseph, how we doing?
I'm doing very well this morning. Sun's out, feeling good.
All right, fresh off your California trip to Napa?
Absolutely.
You kind of look a little bit still wine hungover, but you're feeling good?
Still the best looking in the group.
Okay. He's obviously still drunk. So episode 16 is Welcome to Virtual Reality. And talking about VR, we have Chuck Gullett with us in the house. Chuck, how long have we known each other for now?
We've known each other a while.
It's been a couple of years at least.
Yeah, it feels like forever.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, BFFs, you know?
Oh, totally.
How did you get started? Because you're also a real estate agent. You're
Correct.
doing virtual reality. You own a company.
Yes.
You have obviously a lot going on. How long have you been doing, how did you get in real estate in general in the first place?
Oh, man. Real estate, I got into, it was back in 2005-ish.
Okay.
When times were a little easy back then.
Yeah.
I was working a corporate job at Caterpillar, and I'd been there 13 years.
Wow.
And I started buying some investment properties with a buddy of mine. And we ended up purchasing 9 single-family homes within the span of about a year.
Wow.
I know. And then we figured out, hey, we left all this money on the table in real estate commissions.
Right.
We might as well get our licenses because we could have bought another property or two. So we ended up buying 5 more properties. So we were up to 14, 15 rental properties.
Where were these all at?
Down in Peoria.
P-Town.
P-Town,
Okay.
yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
So that got me into real estate, got licensed, and then I just started getting a little burnout at work and stuff, and I was dating a girl up here in Chicago. And was driving up every weekend, and before you knew it, I was quitting my corporate job and living up here, selling
Nice.
real estate.
Do you still have these Peoria properties?
No, man. We divested all of them.
Okay.
So
did you do well or?
we did horribly on them.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Horrible.
Where would they be today, though, if you would have kept them?
Probably okay. Probably
Okay.
break even.
Okay. Okay, so that's not terrible.
We did.
And
pretty
then,
bad.
so you started a real estate company itself,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
And then with us, we partnered using photography and virtual reality, and virtual reality is becoming huge in real estate. People are, kind of wanting to see more of the property than they have in the past.
Correct.
Back in the day, you used to have to actually go to a real estate office to get a book of the properties.
Right. Yeah.
Probably about 40 years ago, and there was no pictures. Then they went pictures, and now video and virtual reality are the big things. The one thing that we use is Matterport, which
Correct.
is this little camera that you have next to you.
Yeah, it's this crazy little device right here.
Yeah, and what is Matterport?
It's basically 3D technology for the inside of a property. So the way I typically describe it to people is it's like Google Street View for the inside of the home.
That's a good way to actually describe it.
Yeah.
And then what made you want to get involved with doing Matterport in general?
I read an article about the camera because I was doing just regular photography with you.
Yeah.
Doing the old-timey virtual tours, with the spins and stuff like that with the regular camera. And I was reading this article in Wired magazine, and they were talking about this 3D technology and this virtual reality technology coming down to the masses. Like back in the day, a camera like this would be like $50,000.
Wow.
And they were bringing it to a point where it was affordable and we could do this technology ourselves.
Right. When did you actually buy your first camera then?
That was probably 2014, 2015.
Okay.
Something like that. So really early on. I'd seen one in action here in Chicago, probably the first guy to do it in Chicago.
Yeah.
And then I remember having a conversation with you because we were doing photography for your listings.
Yeah.
And I just ran it by you, and you're pretty amazed by it, it seemed.
Yeah. I think I remember I said I'll do it on every single listing.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, done.
Yeah. And ever since
I'll
then,
buy a camera.
Yeah. We've been doing it in every single listing.
Every single listing.
So were you into photography, before you ever got into real estate then?
Yeah, totally. My dad gave me a camera really early on when I was a kid, like grade school, like 3rd grade, I think. Okay. And then took some classes in college and stuff like that. And then when I moved up to Chicago and started doing real estate here, I thought it was hard to find a really good, consistent photographer. And I was like, I know, I could probably do this myself. So I just started honing my skills in real estate photography, and people started hiring me. Matt found me.
Yeah.
How'd you find me?
I can't remember, to be honest with you. I think I found you through somebody else was using you.
Yeah.
I think we I think we were probably in a desperate need for a photographer, and we were searching, and I think somebody recommended you to me.
Yeah, I was
And-
cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and and I was just like remembering that like we got to get moving, and at that time in 13, 14, we weren't as listing heavy as we were
Right.
now, and obviously our business wasn't where it was. So, what about like the like kind of mentioned that you had cameras before, like how does that camera differ from like a traditional camera compared to like the Matterport
good
camera?
question. Yeah, so this camera in particular, it's more like scanning rather than photography.
Yeah.
And you position it totally differently than you would a still camera to photograph a property. So with the still cameras, we're like in the corners and stuff like that, trying
Yeah.
to get the wide angle shots.
Yeah.
With this, we're trying to form a real natural walking pattern through the property and still capture all the detail.
So has that camera changed since you've gotten it?
You know, it looks exactly the same, basically.
Okay.
This is the latest generation of it, and
Okay.
it looks identical to the one that came out, in 2015, 2014.
Okay.
It's still this crazy looking black box, but the stuff inside has changed. Like the sensors are better. It does HD renderings now.
Okay.
It runs a ton faster.
How long
So-
did it used to take to do?
Well, I could tell you that it used to take a lot longer.
Because
Oh, man.
Joe sits with them a lot of
He
times.
does,
Joe,
yeah, that's
Oh
fun.
man, me and Chuck
We get to sit
became
and
good
chat.
buds. Yeah,
We
yeah,
did.
So,
You've probably talked about everything you could talk about.
oh man,
Yeah.
one 2-bedroom condos at least an hour and a
At
half.
least an hour, yeah. So
No.
we'd be there, and this thing would be grinding away, just slow. It spins around,
Yeah.
and you control it from the iPad, and then you move it to the next position, spins around. It would take, a minute, minute and a half per scan, and we're doing 50 scans in a property. So yeah, solid hour.
And then when they had stairs, then it would be much
Yeah,
much harder.
man.
Yeah.
Duplexes and triplexes.
Joe
and
loved Matterports.
brutal. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to hang out, so that was
Yeah.
fun.
How much, like now today, how long does it take to do one?
You could do a 2-bed, 2-bath in probably 25 minutes, 20
wow.
minutes. Yeah, so they've dramatically improved. It's like a combination of the software and the hardware. So they're always making improvements in this stuff.
So then, like, they're obviously improving all the time. Like, how did Matterport even get started? Like, where does the name even come from? Do you know
Yeah.
anything about that?
Yeah, I know. There was a guy, his name's Matt, huh? Coincidentally,
yeah.
good
Hey
name.
now, all right.
He came up with this idea for it and started doing some of the inventing on it back in 2011. And he partnered up with a guy that did security for PayPal, like all that CAPTCHA security stuff.
Yeah.
And then they pitched this at a venture capital seeding forum. And they end up with like a $1.6 million venture capital grant.
Okay.
And then after that, they just kept expanding and expanding. I think last count, they were up to like $61 million in venture capital.
Wow.
So they're able to really improve this stuff dramatically. And they've got 200 people that work at the company now.
Okay.
So it's
So they're
pretty
getting-
sizable.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they're
getting
getting
pretty
big.
big.
It's really good.
You're talking about like they're getting bigger and they're getting more money. Like, how accurate is like a Matterport scan? Like when they, like kind of like
Yeah,
it does
so
and
this
stuff?
camera is accurate about to 1%.
Okay.
Yeah, which is really accurate. And
'Cause
then,
you're
yeah.
talking about like square footage beforehand.
Yeah.
And I know like in Chicago we don't do square footage, right, Joe?
Correct.
Yeah. And
Smart.
it kind of drives us a little bit crazy. And you mentioned some lawsuits earlier and things of that nature. And like,
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I get a seller that's like, hey, our place is 2,500 square feet. I'm like, well, the Matterport says it's like 1,900.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's huge differences.
Pretty
Like,
big
what-
differences
like, why is that?
sometimes.
And like compared to like what people think compared to the Matterport.
Yeah, it's measuring the interior walls of the property.
Okay.
And it depends on who measured it before. If it was a developer, you remember sometimes they add in outdoor space and
Right.
balconies, and sometimes that makes up the difference.
Outside walls in.
Yeah, exactly.
With being a little bit more generous.
Being
Joe,
a
you've run
little
into
more
some square
generous.
footage problems, right?
Yeah, I have. Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it could drive you a little bit nuts. So it's a much more accurate way to kind of tell. Because one of the things I would love Chicago to do is that everybody use Matterport, and we can report square footage based off Matterport technology.
Absolutely. That'd
And
be
I think,
amazing.
I think then we could start using the terminology price per square foot.
Yeah, I know. It'd be so much easier
I
to run
think,
comps and
Joe,
everything.
Wouldn't you feel like more badass if you like walked up to a client like at price per square foot for River North's X?
Yeah. I think we get asked that a lot still.
It
Yeah.
does, yeah, because we're the only civilized city in the world that doesn't do price per square foot.
Yeah.
Because we have no algorithm how to measure it. Everybody's makes up square footage in Chicago. I mean, Matterport's a great way to kind of, try to have things that are a little bit more accurate. Now, What about like price wise? Like, how much does a camera cost to buy something? Like, what's the newest version cost?
The newest version, just the camera itself, is about $4,000.
Wow, so it's a pretty big investment.
Yeah, pretty big investment. Then you got to do a nice tripod with it, preferably one that looks cool.
Okay.
And then an iPad too to run the thing.
And a nice carrying case.
Nice carrying case. Yeah. You got to look sharp out there.
Yeah. What about so like is it like like Apple, like where a new one comes out every year? Like how often are they putting out new cameras?
They're putting out a new one every 3-4 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
pretty
not that
slow
bad.
life cycle.
And are they making their money just like selling you the one-time product, or do you
No.
have to subscribe to some type of monthly?
Good question. Yeah. So the monthly hosting, I think, is where they really make the money.
What does that even mean?
Brilliant.
So all these Matterport spaces that we upload get hosted. It's all proprietary, so they kind of lock this stuff down. So they're the only ones that really host this.
So they own the data.
They own it, yeah.
Nice.
And you could buy it, of course. You can get these data packets and stuff like that. Then you'd have to have the correct software to actually host it yourself, which is really expensive. So they kind of get us on that monthly hosting fee all the time. So it gets
What's the
pretty
monthly
steep.
hosting fee cost?
There's some months when I run a ton of scans and I'll get charged per scan for uploads. I mean, some months it's $1,200, $1,800. Yeah.
Wow. So it's pretty pricey.
Yeah, but I think the most basic plan where you can host, I forget how many tours. It's like $99.
Okay.
But we do a lot of them.
So it's like Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. They're getting that royalty.
They're getting the royalty. Yeah,
man. That's a good move. Now, what about do you recommend people like I do obviously a lot of Matterports, but I have zero drive to get a camera. Do you see a lot of agents like get a camera and scanning themselves, or you see them like hiring people like yourself?
Most hire people like us to come out and do it just because we do it pretty efficiently, and we kind of know the places to scan. You can always tell a newbie person going in to scan these things because you're like zigzagging all over when you're walking through the property. So we try and make it nice and smooth and have everything scanned correctly and get in and out as quick as we can. But the agents, it seems that buy the camera for themselves. Probably the hosting fees end up catching up with them over time, and then you see those cameras out on eBay.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like if a new model comes out, like can you sell your old model?
Yeah.
Do you get like decent return on it?
Yeah, pretty good return on it.
Like maybe 50% or what?
About 50%, yeah. And sometimes they'll do a trade-in program where you can trade the old one in for a new one.
Yeah. Apple trade-in fees.
Yeah,
it's the same
exactly. The buyback,
Yeah,
they know what they're doing.
That's the way they do it. So what about have you seen the percentage of like real estate agents like go up that are using Matterport lately?
What do you mean?
Like do you see more agents using Matterport than they
had
a couple
absolutely.
years ago?
Yeah. You guys were like on the early cutting edge of it.
Yeah.
And my brokerage used it too.
Yeah.
But there weren't very many, and now it's probably 10% of the listings have it.
Yeah. I think it's a big way to showcase the properties. I mean, in a big city, because one of the questions I have is do you think it differs by location? Like how many people use it? Because in a city like Chicago, most people are, well, not most, but we have a huge consultant population where people are traveling a lot.
Yeah.
And in months like this where it's really hot, things sell really quickly. And so if they're in New York for 4 days this week and they could, look at the general, it's not that people are buying things sight unseen like a ton, but I think I read 30% of people bought sight unseen last year.
Wow.
So if you could do a virtual walkthrough on it, and they've seen something similar to it, I mean, it gives them a better opportunity to buy it sight unseen. So it helps buyers out, but obviously as agents, it helps sell our listings a lot quicker too.
Yeah. And you're not wasting time on garbage showings.
Yeah, I think it helps increase the quality of the showings.
Yeah.
Because obviously pictures can be, heavily edited. So
yeah, for sure.
I think that's a big...
Well, that's a big thing I say all the time because we get these idiots that come into the showings and they go, man, well, I didn't think the layout was that. I thought the pictures were really good, and then I got here and those pictures didn't showcase the layout at all. Like this was really deceiving, and I'm like, okay, well, I have a floor plan, I have a 3D virtual tour of it, and I have a video of it.
Yeah.
What more can you to show you the property?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I think,
happens to me like twice a week.
Yeah, Joe, because Joe does a lot of the showings. Joe gets yelled at. He's like, these people are screaming at me. Like, well, tell them, look at the fucking floor plan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm like,
look at the Matterport.
So in the elevator, I'm like, hey, did you have a chance to watch the virtual walkthrough?
Yeah.
No. I'm like, did you read the remarks? They're like, I'm like, why? Is there something we don't know? I'm like, Well, I just want you to know that the third bedroom has been opened up here. So when they get in there, they're not like, oh, what the hell is this? This is a 2-bedroom?
Yeah.
Totally.
And that's a big thing that happens. And I say, like, listen, we've done our due diligence on it, but I mean, I do think that, like, not everybody's not going to watch it. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah.
I think it gives us another tool to market the property. So it's like, it gives us a leg up to try to win more listings, but it also showcases the people who travel a lot too, to be able to walk through it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And internationally too, Chicago's a big international market. So for people to be able to, like, be in China or India or, Middle East, Russia, whatever, to be able to tour without actually being there, I think is like kind of like a big thing.
Absolutely.
Do you see Matterport being used for anything outside of real estate, like minus like homes and stuff?
Yeah.
Like
we use it for lots of stuff.
Like what
I did some yachts.
Really?
High-end yachts. Yeah,
Really?
that was pretty cool.
Oh, man, who are these guys?
I know, right?
Yeah. I mean, you got some fucking money if you're like, hey,
I know.
I'm going to Matterport my yacht.
Yeah.
Are they selling them?
They're selling them, yeah. It's a yacht broker.
That's actually a good idea. I never thought about that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Huh.
And then we've done some insurance claim stuff.
Okay.
During the polar vortex.
Yeah.
All the broken pipes and stuff like that. They want to capture the space as is.
Okay.
And be able to show it, put 3D goggles on and walk through the space and actually see it. And they can do that from anywhere in the country.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool. We did an 8-story building up in Lakeview, and we linked it all together. It was 53 units that got damaged over 8 stories. And man,
Wow.
that's crazy looking.
Wow.
So
I mean, I guess, I think the possibilities are like endless for it. I mean,
yeah.
do you see a lot of people wearing the goggles? Because like everybody's saying like virtual reality is coming to just the goggles.
Yeah. I don't see them that often. Do you?
I mean,
Maybe at home.
I hate putting on the goggles.
Yeah.
I've tried. I do. Like I've actually like gone on my way to put them on and try like watching movies or and like I hate having them on my head.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think it'll get big?
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think I don't know, maybe like hologram type stuff. That might be cool.
Yeah.
Where you don't have to put some on your
Like,
head
it comes
to
out
see
of your,
it.
it comes out
I
of
mean,
your
well,
Apple
yeah,
Watch.
yeah.
They
just
say
watch
like
it, right?
like
Exactly.
25, 30 years from now, like nobody's gonna actually look at properties. They're just gonna like walk through them virtually, and like they'll buy them that way.
Man, they got to walk through once. Don't they?
I still think. I mean, maybe this is not gonna be in my lifetime or my kid's lifetime, but like I personally don't think people are gonna buy Sun and Scene that as much as that's gonna happen. Like I think
Yeah.
people still want to see the place they're gonna live.
Yeah, they want to touch it, feel it,
Yeah.
walk through it.
Especially,
Yeah.
it's not like that big of it. I mean, I hate to say it, it's not like most people don't have that much time to be able to like look at a place that they're gonna, put their biggest investment into. That they're like so busy that they got to sit on their couch and like just put on a headset. But
Yeah, I think most people act much busier than what they are.
yeah, especially
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I can't even get
time for
I
that.
can't even spend 5 minutes to look at my $500,000
Yeah,
house that
yeah.
I live in with my family.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. So, what about we're talking about Matterport. I mean, virtual reality is becoming huge in real estate in general, but I'm assuming there's other companies that do the virtual walkthroughs that aren't Matterport. I mean, we're using the term Matterport a lot, but virtual reality is virtual reality. Like, who's Matterport's like biggest competitors?
There are a few, that are doing very similar stuff.
Yeah, because I see a lot sprouting up more like Inman and some other publications talk about them.
Yeah. I still think the Matterport, just based on the quality of the imagery and how smooth the walkthroughs are, and just the seamless technology of it, they're still the top of the game. They're the one everybody's gunning for. But the other ones are catching up. I mean, it's just a matter of time. So
who's like their biggest competitor right now that's up and coming?
Man, InnoViewer maybe? I don't know. I don't know all the names of the competitor ones.
Okay, so
but
there's like, I mean,
I'm looking at their features more than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, anytime somebody starts winning in technology, you're going to get like, 50,000 copycats that are going to try to catch up to them. I guess the biggest thing for Matterport to continue to win is to keep pushing the envelope, which some companies struggle with. But I assume at $61 million valuation that they have the ability to buy their competitor.
Yeah, I think they're doing all right.
Better, competition.
Buy that technology.
Technology and stuff like that.
I think maybe the one that would take over what Matterport's doing is the company that comes out and it's all open source.
Yeah.
So it's not proprietary anymore,
Yeah.
and it's just shared by everybody.
Yeah.
That could topple the company.
Yeah, I could see that. What about where do you think technology is evolving with all this stuff?
Oh man, like future-wise with this stuff.
Yeah. Getting trippy.
I know. I think maybe near term with these scans.
What's that mean?
Like near term, like in the next few years.
Yeah.
You might be able to take these scans and you're walking through the place, you bought it, you're looking at the scans afterwards, and take a picture of a couch at Room and Board, and then you can put that in the property, or paint color at Sherwin-Williams, touch the wall, and then, that kind of stuff, where the retailers are kind of involved in it, maybe designers are involved in it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
People can make changes to it.
Yeah. What about, with the technology, like, why should agents, like, start using, like, this type of stuff now?
I think it's a huge time saver for them. They're not going to waste as much time on showings that aren't going to go anywhere, like if the layout doesn't work for somebody and stuff like that. And people can really see the property ahead of time, so they know what they're getting into. Yeah,
I mean, that's what I think I'm a big proponent on. I also think, like I said, I think agents out there that are thinking about doing it is that it really showcases the place and it looks cool, and like even like how we like use it on social media, like how we do like cool like intros with it, and I think it's a good way to look at it. And for people who are thinking about listing their places, they should think about the agents who are willing to spend the money to do it, because it's a big marketing thing. Because sellers are always like, well, what do you do differently? Well, I like to say, I mean, we do video and virtual reality. I'm like, if you do both, I mean, like, what more can you do?
I
to
know,
showcase
there's nothing
your place?
left. I don't know.
Like literally, like you can only promote a place as much as you can and that type of stuff. What about like the biggest mistake you're seeing agents do with this type of technology?
Probably, they make the decision to spend the money on it. They probably got a listing because they are doing it.
Yeah.
And then they go in, the property's not prepped.
Okay.
So there's stuff all over. There's 10 cats running around.
Yeah.
Because you can't edit any of these scans.
Right. So that's the blessing and the curse of it. I mean, there's no photoshopping after the fact with this.
Yeah.
It is what it is. That's why it's so realistic when you're walking through. Nothing's been altered.
Yeah.
So they just don't prep the property, and I don't think it does any service. It's not going to help you sell if there's dirty clothes all over the bed.
We've had that happen a couple of times.
It's kind of rough.
As much, it's mostly tenants, so that's what sucks. Is like you go there once, it looks clean, and then I send you guys in, and it's like I always tell, like I just kind of like sent you to the wolves, because like you're like there's stuff all over the place. You're moving the stuff. Joe loves moving.
Joe loves moving stuff.
Joe's actual favorite thing is to do like 100-degree weather in a suit.
Yeah.
Moving.
He doesn't even take the suit off. Doesn't take the coat off. Doesn't loosen the tie.
You know why? Because he says it burns more calories.
Oh.
So that's why he likes to do it that way.
Smart.
Right?
No, there's many days where I'm moving all the stuff from one room into the kitchen so that it's not on the scan. And then the cat runs across the monitor, and then we have to reshoot it, or the owner walks in and asks if we want coffee, and we're like, no, just stay outside, please.
Yeah, I mean that's like you said, it's a blessing and a curse about it. What about the analytics? You kind of touched on it. Like, how does Matterport use the analytics?
There's stats you can see behind the scenes on it. So 3 different ones. You've got the impressions. So that's whenever someone hits a page where there's a Matterport embedded or links to a Matterport in it. And then you've got visitors. That's somebody that actually clicks on it and looks at it. And then you've got unique visitors. So you can go between the visitors and unique visitors and see who keeps coming back. So it's kind of cool to see that stuff. Like you guys pump it out on Facebook and other social media. Yeah. If you looked at the before and after stats, you'll be able to see how many people are clicking on it and if that's worthwhile to do.
Do they know about, like, on average, like, how many people click on, like let's say as a company, how many people generally click on the Matterport link?
Like overall?
Yeah, like is it like a 10% looking at it or anything like that?
I don't know. I'd have to get back to you on that.
I'm curious about that.
Yeah, me too.
Just like what the actual impressions are, because I think it's still a new enough technology that even a lot of consumers don't know it exists.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell people, like, well, look at the Matterport tour and stuff. Like, before we actually schedule showings, we actually send, like Joe was saying, like, did you look at the Matterport stuff?
Yeah.
Before we schedule showings, we actually send people a presentation of the property that includes the Matterport thing, and we tell people, we encourage them to look at these stuff.
Yeah.
Because in the MLS, it's not super easy to find.
Our first line is click on the 3D tour.
Yeah.
It's literally line number 1 we have on it. So we try to promote it as much as possible.
I know, that's great.
So when people say they don't know it exists, it kind of boggles my mind a little bit, because I'm like, we sent you a presentation. The first line on the MLS is to click on the virtual reality link. But I think minus people like ourselves that really call it out, like I just wonder how much people are actually, like, the consumer knows about it. Do you know anything about, like, consumer, like, are they doing anything to try to promote it to consumers?
Yeah, they do some pushes and stuff like that with it, but mainly it's up to, like, the end user of it, how it gets promoted. So I've done them with, I did the coolest offices in Chicago with cranes.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did that for 2 or 3 years with them.
Nice.
But those get ridiculous hits, because as soon as they release that, everybody's clicking on it. It's right there front and center. Like in a couple days, you've got 120,000 hits on that thing.
Wow. Does it shut that site down?
No,
How do
it
you handle it?
keeps. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's magic.
What about like how do you think technology can help like win the business like this?
Oh man, for like listings and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you tell me when you go in and you give them your spread of like all the stuff you're offering with it. When you're up against an agent.
Yeah, I mean, I think it helps because it's another. I mean, it's not cheap to do. It's not
No.
like super. It's not like where you can't afford to do it.
It's reasonable.
But it is. It's a cost. To me, it's a cost of doing business.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you make more because property sells and you did well, and sometimes you just eat it because
Yeah.
the property doesn't sell and you get fired. But I mean, the reality is I think it's another tool that separates you from the competition.
Absolutely.
Because
Yeah,
a lot of people
totally agree.
aren't willing to spend the money up front because it does cost a lot of money to list the place. But I believe that you eat what you kill, and if you're good at what you're going to do, you're going to make more money.
Yeah.
That's how life works. You got to
Yeah.
spend money and make money.
Yeah.
Right, Joe? That's your
No,
best thing.
I agree. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people they obviously value the $1 million properties and they go out of their way, where I think we're kind of different, and we don't really discriminate
No,
with
you guys
with
do
any
them all.
properties.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
whether it's a studio or one bedroom, we're still doing it.
Yeah, we actually do Matterport on every single listing.
You do?
Every single one, no
The
matter
small
what.
ones I probably lose money on.
Yeah, me too. but I mean, I think it's just like a good way to. I think the biggest problem agents in general have too when they're doing it is that consistency.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem is that like they try to pick and choose and like, well, I may not be as profitable on this one, so let's cut this or do this. And like, I mean, I literally have an agent a week reach out to me. He's like, why are you doing video and virtual reality on like a studio or a one bedroom? Like, what's
Yeah.
the point of that?
Nobody
Like,
else
Yeah,
does.
why are you spending the money? I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? The difference is for a place under 300,000, people like literally spend no money on it, and that's why mine's selling like a day. Because I'm the only one under 300,000 looks badass.
Yeah.
And it's some punk 26-year-old that looks at that and that's like, man, that place is sick.
Yeah.
Like you see that virtual thing?
Boom.
But I mean, again, that's another way to separate yourself from the competition. So what about you? What's your favorite part of Matterport? Like what do you love most about it?
I'm kind of techie nerdy, so
Yeah.
I like just the platform and how it works,
Yeah.
and it's still relatively new in the market, and they keep changing it and updating it, and
Yeah.
I think it's just going to keep getting better and better.
Yeah,
it's
I
just
mean-
cool to be involved with it.
Yeah, I mean we're total tech geeks too, and like we love getting involved. I mean, I love seeing where technology can go. I mean, do you have an idea of where you think this is going to be 5 years from now?
5 years from now,
5 years from now.
man, I think there's going to be a lot more places scanned, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
I think it's going to be more in the palm of your hand. It's not going to be this big device you
Yeah.
bring in.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tiny little camera device you put in a room.
Yeah.
Do you think all properties are going to soon be videos? Like it's not going to be
Maybe.
just 25 pictures.
Yeah.
Like the first thing you click on is just going to be a
Yeah,
like
and
a
then you
virtual
could just do
walkthrough.
the still photos off of that. And
Yeah.
this does still photos and stuff as well. So I think it's migrating that way
Yeah.
to where you do just have this massive immersive video that you control. You
Yeah.
look all around. You've got your cool still photos you can take. And,
Yeah.
Well, even like the Facebook profile pictures, like they used to be just like
Oh,
your
yeah,
best
yeah.
picture. Now it's like a a little clip that you could put in there.
Yeah,
That's it.
it's
Yeah.
amazing.
What about well, you know what we have is co-host asks. You ready for these?
I'm ready.
What we call the Fast Five. Joe, go ahead.
Hit me.
For number one, what is the best piece of advice you ever received?
I think early on, when we were buying the rental properties and stuff, and I started getting into real estate,
Yeah.
one guy told me, don't ever buy an investment property you wouldn't live in yourself, because you may end up living in it yourself.
You know what? I say that to Joe all the time.
Yeah.
I can't even describe. Like that's literally the saying I said to
Really?
Joe. Yeah, because I own a lot of real estate
Yeah.
properties, and I only buy properties I would live in.
Yeah.
And I'm not as profitable on 'em. I get it, but I always say if shit hits the fan, I'd move in here. I'd be fine with it.
Yeah.
You know? Joe, what do you think?
I'd rent it at Nema.
Okay, question
All
two.
right.
Do you love to win or do you hate to lose?
My favorite question.
Love to win.
Oh man, why?
Yeah. I don't know. It seems more positive.
Okay, you are a very positive guy, though. I would
Maybe
probably say you're probably one of the
optimistic.
most positive people I know.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
All right, cool.
Who is your biggest hero?
Maybe a little cliche. I just got to give it up to my parents.
Yeah,
They've always supported me.
yeah.
Stuff like that, even though they probably didn't agree with me quitting Caterpillar after 13 years there.
Which is a phenomenal job, by the way.
Yeah, phenomenal job.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I had
Hard
a
to get.
pension. Yeah. And I bailed out a year before the recession, so
Yeah.
pretty smart move.
Yeah.
Are
They
they-
always have my back.
Are they
Yeah.
local here?
They're down in Peoria still.
Or? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So pretty close. Close enough.
Cool. If you can have one superpower, what would it be?
Oh God. Man, I wouldn't mind flying. That'd be pretty sweet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get out of traffic.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
bad. Are you, just curiosity, are you a Marvel, DC guy, comic book guy?
I think I used to be.
Yeah.
I know you are. You're
Yeah.
totally into
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got my Marvel socks on today.
Yeah. Ooh,
you know?
nice.
So,
And final one, what makes you Chicago?
I think, all right, so I moved here from Peoria. And when I first moved up here, I think I was an extremely polite driver. So I'd be like, derp, 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 driving
Yeah.
around. Hey, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, friend.
Yeah.
You know, and now I'm just like, boom. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in it, man.
Yeah.
If the light turns green, I'm
Yeah.
on my horn if you're not moving. So it's
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
how many accidents you got in now?
Enough.
Yeah.
Just that cement truck. That was rough. Not my
Oh,
fault.
man. So where can people find you, and what would you want to plug?
They can find me social media, of course. Got an Instagram page and a Facebook page, or the website 360chicago.com, and it's all spelled out ThreeSixty Chicago.
Cool. And we'll put that across there.
Cool.
Make sure to tune into our next episode and subscribe to our podcast. Thanks for listening to the Matt Laricy Project.